Hi guys, want to welcome you to a NIFA CCI webinar for the CFPN. I'm Kim, I'm the Director of Education for NIFA, and I'm going to introduce Jim Stabinsky. He is the CEO for CCI. He's here to tell you all about the CFPN new credential that they have out. So Jim.
All right, thanks Kim.
You're welcome.
All right, so check in with the audience. Do I have my slides up? It should say CFPN credential. Am I good? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, hang on just a moment. Let's let Kevin work his magic. All right, thanks, Kevin. All right, I got to give a shout out to Kevin because he makes this all happen. So I'm Jim Stabinsky. Kevin is with the NIFA team and he handles all the tech stuff. I'm Jim Stabinsky. I'm going to talk to you about the CFPN credential. Thank you to NIFA for inviting me, really NIFA and then the NICE program. I'm going to get the partnerships at the end, but thank you for this invite and a chance to talk about this credential. So CFPN is pretty new. It really started in mid-year 2021. CFPN is a brand new credential and it was designed to fit a specific need in the market on a professional development journey for perioperative nurses. Here's the thing. We are bringing a lot of nurses into the profession. Many perioperative nurses have been in the profession for a long time. And with the pandemic, changes in surgery, a number of items, they're no longer working or they've really scaled back their hours. But we have very experienced nurses that are now leaving the profession. And a lot of nurses are being brought in and trained. The real root of the problem is there is no standardized way to educate, train, bring perioperative nurses into the profession. And a hospital, a health system, any diversity of programs can do an education program, an orientation, document that, and then call someone a perioperative nurse or an OR nurse. CCI, I'm the CEO of CCI and the CCI Research Foundation. We can't set the standards and accredit programs and have oversight on every health system in the world that's training perioperative nurses. We can help you establish the competency, no matter what your program is. Whoever you're working with, you developed your own program, we can help you to establish their competency because that's what we do. That's our strength. So CFPN is about addressing that need. CFPN is an acronym, Certified Foundational Perioperative Nurse. So we're bringing a lot of nurses into the profession. The volume of surgery, even with the pandemic, we're still doing a lot of surgery. And with the aging of the population, the amount of surgery that we do will continue to increase. But for the nurses to work in the operating room, there's no standardized method. There's no college that you can go to become a perioperative nurse. So we want to fill that niche in the market and help you to establish the credentials for these nurses. Currently, if you want to earn a certification as a perioperative nurse, you would have to wait till you have 2 years and 2,400 hours of practice. And then you'd have a choice between CNOR, which has been in the market for 42 years, or CNA&B if you're working in ambulatory surgery. But basically, you have to have 2 years and 2,400 hours of practice. So what's our move? What's our strategy? How do we address this? CFPN, CCI would like to offer a solution to at least a part of this problem, and that is CFPN, this credential. So here's the core features of CFPN. This is for nurses who have recently completed a perioperative nursing orientation program. CCI cannot endorse a program. We're willing to partner and work with different programs, but everything that's in the market right now, all that we say is they have to have completed an orientation program and get a certificate of completion. The program has to have both classroom didactic instruction and clinical instruction. So if we ask you to document that, you'd have to be able to give us a syllabus or course outline or something that it has both those components. We don't have any say in the number of hours. We don't, the amount of clinical, who precepts the clinical, none of that. We don't go over your curriculum. If you have a program now that you develop, you bought a program from a vendor, you have a program that works, all that we ask is you're able to document the program and give us a certificate of completion. CFPN, once you earn it, it's good for 2 years and then it expires. There is no recert. There's no renewal. It leads you or bridges you onto other credentials like CNOR, CNA, and B. So in the language of credentialing, it is a stackable credential that leads you on to other credentials. But the other important thing about CFPN, very early in a nurse's career, it connects you to all the resources at CCI, our learning management system, and all the other continuous professional development offerings. You get connected to that when you engage with CFPN. There's 4 parts. There's mandatory, and they go in sequence. The very first part, you have to pass a knowledge-based test. It's 120 items, only 100 are scored. So like many exams, some of them aren't scored. It's 2 hours. You don't have to go to a testing center. All that you have to do is do it remote secure. You sign up with CCI, remote secure proctored exam, stay at home, do it on your laptop. Once you pass, then you can go on. If you don't pass the knowledge-based test, you're done. There's no waivers, but when you do pass, it's pass or fail, and then you move on and take an assessment of soft skills. And you get a rating from our partner PSI Assessments on things like adaptability, how well you think on your feet, critical thinking skills, and you get the nurse gets a report, only the nurse, not CCI, not your employer. You can share it, the nurse can share it if they wish, but only they get a report. It's like 16, 18 pages long, takes about 30 minutes to do the assessment, and then they keep the score report from their knowledge-based test. They take their report from the 16 PF and they move on to the next step in sequence. It's called the PPCSR. It's a self-assessment of their opinion of their perioperative nursing competency. The instrument is designed only for perioperative nurses, takes about 30 minutes. They get a score report, only the nurse, and they keep the score report. Both the 16 PF and the PPCSR are, those are not pass or fail. You take an assessment, you get a score report. The 4th and final part is graded. Once you've accumulated all those results, then you will do a reflective learning exercise, which is graded. A member of the credentialing team grades that against a rubric. And you tell us your CFPN expires in 2 years. Where do you go from here? What's your next thought about how are you going to progress in your career? You have to write it out and tell us your plan, and it's graded. When you complete all of that, you will earn a CFPN credential. So for all of these components, you get a digital badge. This is more information about the knowledge-based test. I've already told you this, it's pass or fail, but for each one of these segments, when you pass it, you get a digital badge, which is a repository. It's an active link. If you're a nurse, you can share this with when you do interviews, when you want to share with your supervisor, what did you accomplish? You can share this. And for the digital badge for the knowledge-based test, it'll tell you all the areas of that test. It won't tell them your score, but it will tell them the things that you were tested on, and if you hold that badge, that you passed. So when I talk to people about CFPN, because I give a lot of presentations, they ask me, why do we need another test? I bought a commercial program. It has a test in it. Why do we need another test? Because this test was developed by CCI. This is a statement from our testing partner, PSI. They're one of the largest testing companies in the world. This is why our test is different. Ours is psychometrically sound, subject to third-party oversight, and it is written in the same style as CNOR, CNAB, CSSM, our other credentials. So it's essentially a type of practice test, of familiarization with how CCI writes tests and items at a very rigorous level. So when people say, I already have a test, why do I need another test? Don't change anything that you're doing. If you have a program that you've put together, you have tests, quizzes, you can keep all of that. But if you want your nurses to go on to CFPN, then we can offer you as a part of this credential, a test that's written at this standard. So I've actually been to Paris and seen this statue at where Rodin used to live. But the thinker, if you're thinking right now, Jim keeps talking, why should nurses earn this credential? Or if you're a supervisor or leader, why would my facility expend precious resources when, resources right now are tight, professional development money is tight? Why should I spend money on this credential? Why not just wait for CNOR? Well, let me give you a couple of reasons. If you're running a hospital, ambulatory surgery center, and you're accredited, you have to document the competency of your staff. I can provide you the best documentation in the industry and a psychometrically sound test of their knowledge. That's the knowledge-based test, the first step of the credential. Nobody in the industry can give you that, and you will have a pass or fail for all your nurses that they have the knowledge. This credential assesses and then reinforces components of your orientation program. Those components, we use reflective learning, and we actually assess and give feedback to all the candidates on knowledge, skills, and attitude. For the nurse educators in the audience, those are the three components of competency, those three parts. We will give the candidates feedback on all of those so they can develop their own professional development plan. If you're in the ANCC Magnet program or the ANCC PTAP, their accreditation program, these fit very nicely within both of those frameworks and give you great documentation. In addition, if you're trying to up your certification rates, this will get you there quickly, and I'm going to explain how that happens. It will also assist a nurse early in their career. They can devise their own roadmap working with the nurse educator, with their mentor, their preceptor, the leadership of your OR, they can set up their own professional development path using this credential and all the resources. Once they earn the credential, they have access to our learning management system, and there's no additional charge. There are things in our learning management system that you could purchase, but once you engage with CCI and move on to CNOR, CNA&B, CSSM, you never have to pay for CE again. There's no additional charge. We have over 1,000 professional development points in our system, and they're available without charge. We have other stuff that you could buy, but there's no requirement to do that. If they go on to earn CNOR, they could earn professional development points, and you never have to pay for CE again. In this credential, we validate and we document nursing knowledge, skills, and aptitudes specific to perioperative nursing. It's based on a job analysis of what perioperative nurses do. The individual, and with an assist from the facility, they can take charge of their own career, and they can earn a credential early in their career. If your typical orientation is 6-8 months, they get a certificate of completion. In theory, if you handed them a certificate of completion in December this month, they could earn CFPN if they stay on it and they pass the knowledge-based tests in their first attempt. They could very likely have CFPN behind their name in January. It'd be the end of January, early February, but if they stay on it and you guide them and support them, within 60 days, they could hold this credential. Why is that important? Because any nurse that holds CFPN can then test for CNOR, CNA&B, assuming they're otherwise eligible. Once they accumulate 2,400 hours of clinical experience, they can test for these credentials at 18 months. And the clock starts on the day they begin orientation. So if you want to get them to CNOR, CNA&B, and then all of the professional development activities they can research, this is the path to get them there. CFPN nurses with digital badges, they have documentation that they can share on their knowledge, skills, and aptitude. So there's no need to change your current orientation residency program. You could just say, we're going to keep our program just like it's devised now, and we're just going to put CFPN will start at the end of orientation, or as they're nearing the end, we're going to link them right up to CFPN and then set them on a professional development path. There will be no gaps. It's a stackable credential, and they just keep moving on their professional development path. Let's go back one. So you're probably asking, CCI started this June, July. I think we made the announcement of who passed the first test in July. How are we doing with this new credential, and what do people think? This is a report that I get from Skylar on a credentialing team. So I told you we issue digital badges. We have issued, we now, as of Monday of this week, we have 166 CFPNs. So those people hold 4 digital badges for the 4 components, and they've completed everything, and they now have a digital badge for CFPN. Next week, we'll probably go over 1,000 digital badges, and we are adding 4 or 5 CFPNs every week. So we have 166 currently. We have another 85 or 90 that are working through the system and doing the components. We have had pretty good uptake. And we are having 6, 8, 10 nurses every month take the knowledge-based test. This credential is growing very quickly. So I love this slide. I use this all the time. If Jim hit a crystal ball, what's the future look like for CFPN? We think the future involves partnerships. We currently have a partnership with the NICE program. If you have nurses sign up for NICE, the final exam beginning in January, and Kimmy, correct me if I'm wrong here, but starting in January, if you finish NICE, your final exam will be the knowledge-based test. Kim, did I get that right?
You did get that right. It begins January 1st.
All right. So anybody that completes the NICE program, your final exam then will be the knowledge-based test of CFPN. If you pass it, you go on and you get a discount when you go on to finish up CFPN, but it's part of your program. And it sets you on a great course if you're a graduate of NICE. CCI would love to partner with other programs. If you developed your own program at your health system and you just want to integrate this credential in that exam, we would love to talk to you about how we could partner to do that. And to be clear, disclaimer for accreditation purposes, we don't endorse programs. I don't have any part of accrediting your program, approving your programs. All I'm saying is if your program has these components and you give them a certificate of completion, you could move them quickly on to CFPN and then on to other credentials. So the other thing is, if you're right now in a rural hospital, a critical access hospital, and resources are darn tight at your facility, I've got a solution for you. In 2022, CCI will start a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative where we will make this credential or components of this credential. There's going to be a method for you to access this, and it may be a grant. So if you need access to professional development materials, you're in a rural area of, rural New Mexico or Colorado, and you got 2, 3 ORs, and you're trying to figure out how am I going to train perioperative nurses, we can help you. You can contact me, my information at the end of this presentation, or you can come see us at ARN Surgical Conference and Expo, and we can tell you about this initiative that we can make materials and content like this. We can make this available to you, and it may be a grant. So if you want to know more about the CFPN credential, this is where you can go on our website, or just go to the CCI website. It's better when you search on the internet. It is the internet. You got to be careful. Put in Competency and Credentialing Institute in quotations, and then put CFPN. It'll take you to this page. This will tell you more about the credential. You can sign up. We'll send you more information. You can download the handbook. But I'm going to also give you my information. I think it may be up on the screen on the banner. I think it's on the upper left on my screen. You can send me an email. You can call me, and I'll talk to you and explain more about this. So right now, we have a partnership with the NICE program that they can use our final exam. We have partnered with NIFA, with NICE. We partner with a number of organizations. The one that does the credentials for CRNFA NACE, they're one of our partners also. We'd love to collaborate, help you to get nurses to earn these credentials. We're a nonprofit. our mission is to help perioperative nurses in their professional development. That's the reason we exist. So we would love to talk to you, share information. Here's my information. If you want to send me an email, send me a text, you want to talk to me some more, I'd be glad to do that. So that's all my slides. Thank you very much for attending. Questions? You can call CCI, you can call NIFA, and we'll answer your questions. If you want to know more about how NICE is connected to the CFPN credential, how it all works, we can call the number that's up here on the 2667 number, and a member of the credentialing team can help you out. All right. Thanks, everyone.